Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever time it is whenever you're watching this. My name is Robbie and you are in the High Vibe Society. Welcome or welcome back if you've been to my channel before. And if you came here from my website, thank you so much. I worked really hard on making that website and I'm my biggest critic. I hate it, but if you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments. That would be awesome. I want to jump right into the video. So today we're going to be talking about travel hacking, but we're not going to be talking about travel hacking hotels quite yet. We're going to be talking about travel hacking flights first because it's a little bit easier to get approved for airline credit cards than it is for the big travel credit cards like the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, or the Amex Gold Card. Okay, this is my first time ever saying this, but first things first, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, you could just click the subscribe button that's around here somewhere, and then click the like button. That'd be really cute, because I'm gonna try to do this more often. Now that flights and travel are picking back up, I know that people are trying to leave like more than ever. I don't blame you. And this term travel hacking is thrown around a lot and not like super explained a ton. Or people go into too much detail and it just gets really confusing. So today I'm going to start with just the frequent flyer credit cards. So United, American, Delta, JetBlue, Southwest. I think that's it for like domestic in America that I know of. And I know that United has their Star Alliance, which it's not Star Alliance, it's the Star Alliance. And they partner with other airlines. So I think Air France is one of them. Lufthansa might be one, Alaskan Airlines, Hawaiian Airlines. There's a bunch of them. So you can just look on their website and see which ones they partner with. And usually the points from your United card will transfer to those other airlines. For getting one of these credit cards, you generally want your credit score to be around 650-ish and above. 650 to like 690 is still in the fair range, so you have a chance of not getting approved, but it's a little bit easier to get approved for the flight points credit cards, so any of the airline credit cards, than it is to get approved for the Chase, the Amex, like I said. I moved a little closer, sorry, the sun is weird. So when you go to apply to one of these credit cards, it's probably gonna be about a 5-point ding on your credit score, so keep that in mind, just in case you have a really low credit score anyways, or you're trying to apply for something else, or you wanna get it checked for renting an apartment, whatever it may be, just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that if you don't get approved, it may not be because of your credit score. If you're really young, like I was when I first applied for mine, I got lucky and I got approved. But if you're really young and you don't have an old credit history, which is like a huge, it's like 30% of your credit score, I think, you probably won't get it approved. One big tip I want to talk about that I didn't really know about was when you get your first credit card. So I think I was 15 when I got my first credit card. My mom like co-signed for me just so that I could have a line of credit. It had $0 annual fee, which should be what your first credit card has, so that you can just keep it and forget about it. You don't have to use it. Don't cancel it. Do not cancel that account. Don't close that account. Don't touch it, even if you're not using it. If you close that first credit card that you got, your credit history was here and now it's here. It makes your credit history just disappear. It's like that first account never even existed because it's closed. So it doesn't matter to creditors anymore. They think that your first account is this new card you're trying to open. So if you open a card, you don't use it anymore, it's $0 annual fee, it's just sitting in your wallet, but it's your first card that you open, just keep it open. Just keep it there. Now I'm gonna speak from my experience because I think that's easier to relate to than me kind of giving you general information. When I was 18, I went on a United flight. They do that thing on the flight where they're like, oh, in-flight special offer for the credit card, you get 80,000 bonus points plus 10,000 bonus points, as opposed to doing it on the ground when you get 60,000 bonus points plus 5,000 bonus points. I know it sounds like such an annoying little spiel, but do it. Do it. Do it in the air. Get those pamphlets that they have in the air that have the extra bonus points. I opened my United one. I was flying to Australia through United, and they had the pamphlets, and I applied for it right there, and I got approved, and I was able to book my next round trip to Australia for free because I got, I think, 90,000 bonus points. When you open these cards, you have to make a qualifying purchase within the first, usually 3 months or 90 days. Normally it's around 3,000 to 5,000-ish for these cards. For most cards, some of them are a little bit higher, some of them are towards the like 8,000 range, but for most of these cards it's around 3,000 to 5,000. I think I put a couch on my United one. I was gonna buy the couch anyways. I'm not making like crazy purchases because I have a credit card, which is something that you definitely should avoid, because you should treat your credit card like cash or like a debit card. If you cannot pay for it in cash, you should not put it on your credit card. If you put something on your credit card that you can't pay for in cash and it just sits there and you pay the minimum on it every month, it's going to accumulate so much interest, because even if there's a 0% intro APR offer for some of these credit cards, which there are, not a ton of them, but there are for a few of them, especially for balance transfer credit cards, which some of them have points, but I'll get to that in a different video. If you let that $3,000 purchase just sit there and you're paying $100 on it every month or $60 on it every month, chances are your APR is 25.99, which is kind of the average around those credit cards. Could be like from 19-ish to 25.99. Instead of ending up saving money on flights and travel and experiences, you're going to end up paying so much out of pocket for this accumulating interest. So do not let it just sit there. Pay off more than you think you need to, pay off $1,000 of it, pay off all of it, whatever it may be. You're still gonna get the points even if you bought it that day and then paid the $3,000 balance that day. You also have to pay the annual fee for these cards, so I think most of them have a $95 annual fee. I know my United one does and my American one does. So you pay the $95 annual fee, you make this $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 purchase, pay it off, or don't pay it off, but you should pay it off, and you get the points after I think like 6 weeks maybe? Once you get those bonus points and you start making regular purchases on the credit card, you get the points from your regular purchases way faster than you do with the bonus points, because they're just regular purchases. Now, sometimes people make spreadsheets for their credit cards so that you know, okay, I have this United card, I get 1 times the points back for every single purchase I make. I get 3 times the points back if I go here, here, and here. I get 5 times points back if I go here, here, and here. I get 2 times points back, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. You can totally make a spreadsheet about that, absolutely, if it's definitely worth it for you. A lot of the time they have like certain dining that you can dine at and get more points, or you can shop somewhere and get more points. You can write down what locations you should be using which credit card at, which is what I recommend. When you make that spreadsheet and you write all those things down, also make sure to write down what your balance is, what you need to pay off, when you need to pay it off, so that you can really keep track of everything so you don't end up fucking yourself in the end. Now, like I said, this is just for frequent flyer credit cards. This is just your frequent flyer points, your American Airlines Advantage card, your United Explorer card. These cards are great for starter cards because they are pretty basic, pretty easy to follow. They have a low annual fee. The Preferred has a $95 annual fee, the Chase Sapphire Preferred. The Reserve has a $550 annual fee. The Amex has a $550 annual fee. There is an Amex that has like a $95 annual fee, but I think the one that has the highest travel points has a $550 annual fee, which for your first, second, third, fourth, fifth credit card, $550 annual fee is kind of a lot, even if it's gonna be one that you are churning, which I don't recommend for an Amex or a Chase card, because those are both great cards. If you wanna get one of the frequent flyer cards, the JetBlue, the United, the blah, 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 you could do credit card churning, which is just when you open an account, you get the bonus points, you pay that 1 annual fee before the year is up so that you don't have to pay 2 annual fees. You close the account. It's not gonna be a huge derogatory mark. I think closed accounts maybe ding you like a couple points, if that, and they'll just be on your credit score. But that's how a lot of people do it. A lot of people will open up all of the airline cards, and you can totally keep them open if you want to, but the thing with keeping them all open is they pretty much are all gonna have an annual fee. So you can weigh your options. If you wanna keep them all open and you wanna have that spreadsheet and you want to list everything and get the most points possible, then totally do that. All you have to do is read your fine print on your credit card, write it all down, bada boom, bada bang, you're in business. Those $95 annual fees are kind of gonna add up after a little while, and you might not wanna be paying like $500 a year for 5 different credit cards, but if you do, whatever, more power to you, totally fine. If you are utilizing that point system, and sister, you are getting the points fucking down, then keep it open. I feel like, at least for me, I was always like preached to never open a credit card because credit cards are so dangerous. But if you're being smart about it and you are treating it like cash and you are paying it off and you are not getting swallowed by interest and you know how to use your credit card and where to use your credit card, then open 20 credit cards. The reason that they say to not open so many, obviously, is because people get inundated with debt and interest and they end up not paying it and then their credit is fucked. So just be smart about it. Start with an airline credit card or two, get those bonus points, get free flights because flights are so expensive now, especially internationally, especially with all the rules. And the point system varies like so much. So I would talk about the point system, but depending on what airline you use and depending on if it's a domestic flight, if it's an international flight, if it's one way, if it's round trip, if you book it the day of, if you book it 2 months in advance, it's going to fluctuate like crazy, and the days. I would suggest looking like the week that you want to go. And I know for a lot of people that's really, really scary, but if you don't want business class, which tends to book out faster than economy, and if you have confidence in the system, because chances of there being a ticket are pretty high, then look pretty last minute because it's going to be a little bit cheaper and you're going to be able to kind of look and see which date works best for you and which date costs the least amount of miles. With the United and the American card, through my American card, I get one-ways domestically for like a 4-hour flight for around 15,000 miles plus like $25 in tax. But once again, like that can range. One day it'll be 15,000 miles and one day it'll be 30,000 miles. So it really just depends on how popular that flight is, what time you're going, all that jazz. Like I said with my United card, I think I got a round trip to and from Australia for, I may have used like most of my bonus points, but I use that card a lot, so I kind of rack up points on that. I keep wanting to talk so bad about the other benefits of it, but I promise that this would just be for flights. So that's gonna be this video for flights. Get an airline card. I know a lot of people say don't get it because it's not good for points and it's not your maximum amount of points and you can't really use it on hotels and stuff, which is totally true. But for your starter card, for your starting travel hacking, I would recommend an airline credit card. As long as you know how to utilize it properly, as long as you know how many points you get where and when to pay it off and blah, 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 all that stuff that I already mentioned. Get an airline credit card, use the points, and learn from there. If you made it to the end of this video, that's fucking really dope. And I hope you have happy travels. Please let me know what other travel content you want to see. I freaking love traveling so much. So leave a comment down below and let me know.